Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Alright friends, it is time for another oddly specific romance recommendation. Today this one, I wasn't quite sure whether to put it under taboo or oddly specific, but I went with oddly specific because this doesn't necessarily have to involve anything that's taboo. It's just not a normal thing maybe that we read, given the deep depths I had to go to find some of these, even though I know for a fact that I've read more books that have this. This is the thing I say every time I do one of these oddly specific recs, or when someone requests a oddly specific rec, which I love. Absolutely. You can put your oddly specific recs in the video recommendation form down below. I love it. But it is super hard to find these books, right? Especially if it is a type of oddly specific thing that you can't Google it. Because you often then get pointed towards adult sites instead of book recommendations, right? So when I typed in hero shaves heroine's kitty, or the other word or whatever, I was redirected to adult videos that had that in it. Which I was like, I mean, no shame to anyone, obviously, because I'm looking for books that have it, though. And then the other issue I kept running into was if there was a shaving scene, it was like the female shaving the male's face, which I will definitely do that video sometime too, for sure, because I also think that that's sexy and is a little more likely to happen. Like, we can see that in a lot more books. But finding ones with a shaved kitty either involve serious BDSM situations or really kinky stuff. As you'll see by this list, I only have two that are even kind of, semi chill for this. Most of them involve pretty intense scenes because it's, it has a lot to do with the control, or you wanting to have full access to someone's body, or wanting to, be in charge of their grooming habits. So that usually comes with a heavier BDSM topic, and not everyone wants to read that. But what I always do when I have oddly specific recs like this, if I'm not able to find them myself, I turn to you guys. So I did put up a question box on my Instagram, and I had a lot of people recommend some. There was two main ones that everyone recommended, and those were the two that I knew about, of course. That's what I run into. So I had, literally I counted, I had 8 people say one book, which I know why people said it. I'm not mad at anyone for saying it. It's just, that was the one I knew because it's the most recent one that I read. It's also the most recent one that everyone else has read. So when people want to contribute to the video, they're like, oh, this one. And I'm like, yes, you did spot it correctly, but it doesn't really help putting a video together because I can't put a video together with just 2 recommendations. When I do oddly specific recs, I like to have at least 5 to 8. I don't make a video if I have less than that. Because otherwise I don't feel like I can contribute a lot of recs to it. But I prefer always for rec videos to have 10 plus, but when you're getting into the oddly specific recs, it's tougher than that. Now, I do have more than 10 recs for this, but they're not all ones I've read. So something else that I do when I put these together is I have the first, I think I have 7 of these that I have read myself. And then I have a list of books that I haven't read them, but they are suggested by viewers. So it means I haven't vetted them personally. One of them I was able to look at, I did look it up in what's it called? Kindle Unlimited, and type in, because that's what I did for a lot of these books to check it, is you go into the book and you do the search and you can type in shave and it shows you where shave is said in the book. So I was able to double check most of these to make sure. But yeah, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I have 7 recommendations from viewers and Instagrammers who say that it has shaving. So I can't 100% be sure, because also, I had a few people who were confused about what type of shaving I was asking for. And I had a couple people suggest historicals where it's face shaving. So I believe the ones that I'm going to suggest are kitty shaving, but there might be a beard in there too, so I apologize. But okay, enough talking on the front end of this. Let's get into the 7 recommendations that I have, and then we'll have the 7 recommendations from other people. So, and if you're watching this and I don't mention a book that you know of, please put it down below, because the other purpose that these videos serve is the comment sections are also full of recommendations for this kink or this oddly specific thing. If you go through my oddly specific rec playlist, which will be linked up there somewhere, any of those videos within there, you will find more recommendations in the comments. So, okay, so let's go ahead. Let's start with the one that everybody was shouting at me that it was in. And it's the one that I knew because I had actually just reread this book. Not only had I just read it, but I reread it because I annotated it. And so the one that everybody will probably know, but maybe you don't because you haven't got to this one yet, is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. So this has a scene where there's a point during this story where Bailey is staying with Bo. It has to do with their fake engagement as well as her needing a safe place to stay, and so she's staying with him. And as they are slowly working up their chemistry, like seriously, there was so much of Bo cock-blocking himself. He's the edge king, okay? Bo is the edge king. And there's a scene where he shaves Bailey, and it is pretty hot. It's pretty sexy. So this is the one that a lot of people knew. So yes, book 5 in Chestnut Springs. Is this Chestnut? Yeah, Chestnut Springs has Bo shaving her up. So there we go. Then the other one that inspired this video actually is one of my favorite books from last year. Yes, is Always Practice Safe Hex by Juliet Cross. This has a scene where actually like before they're about to have sex, the heroine, it's Livy in this one, right? Yes, my brain just like totally lost. Too many Savoy sisters. She is like, ooh, I want to clean myself up before we have sex. And he's like, well, you don't have to. And she's like, I know, but like, I like to. I like how it feels. And he's like, can I do it? And so he shaves her. So that's a super hot scene in here. Yes, this is my beautiful special edition hardcovers. I also have all the beautiful page overlays in this one. Let's see where my favorite one is. This one, I love Gareth's monster. So this one has it in it. I love how Juliet incorporates some kinks into this series. Like, it's never over the top. It's just the perfect amount. Because her books are still like almost have this like small town paranormal vibe, even though they take place in New Orleans. I realize that's not a small town, but the family aspect of this just really feels like that. But then she still slides in some good kinky stuff in there, which is wonderful. All right, then there is, this is another one that a lot of people recommended, and I'm so glad they did because I would not have remembered this one for the life of me. I would not have. And that is Dead Man Walking by Gianna Darling. And this just seems so perfect because the day that I'm filming this, Caution to the Wind is going to be sent to my sent to my Kindle. Caution to the Wind is coming, okay? It is going to be here. They still haven't told us the date yet. I don't know the exact date it's coming yet, but since we have the ARC, I assume that means you guys will have it very soon. So we're waiting on pins and needles for that. But Dead Man Walking is currently book 6 in the Fallen Men series by Gianna Darling. And this one is Priest and Bia, and she is like the pastor's daughter, the good girl, and he is a killer, a psychopath, and he is an enforcer for the fallen, and he just doesn't feel good enough for her, but he also is super possessive of her. So there's also like knife play and like pain and stuff like that in this one, but there is also a scene where he's totally obsessed with wanting to shave her, and when he finally gets the chance to do that, it's everything that he wants, right? So there we go with that. Then there's one that I totally forgot about this one, but it was funny because I knew that one of Sophie's books had shaving in it. I knew that one of them did. but I couldn't remember which one it was. I was going to end up like going through my books to figure it out. And then someone put in the question box that it was There Is No Devil. So this one is book 2 in the duet. You do need to read the first one first. But once you get through the first book and you get to this one, literally one of the first scenes of the book is him now like taking care of her, and that includes him shaving her in the shower. She has like lived through the stuff she's lived through in the first book, and now she's staying with him, and he like is now experiencing this. Instead of wanting to kill her, he just wants to take care of her in every way possible. He wants to shower her in gifts. He wants to, you know, be a part of every bit of her life. And that's what we have going on here in this one. And it starts with him wanting to clean her and feed her and shave her. So we get to see that in this one. All right, now a couple more that I don't own them, but they have it. So there is a series by S.M. LaViolette, aka Minerva Spencer, that is called the Victorian Decadent series. It currently has 5 books. She said that there will be more of them, but it was originally going to be a trilogy, and then she added more. Like, she just loves writing this series. So this whole series is an erotic historical series, and it does heavily feature BDSM. As I said, you're usually going to find this type of care and control like in a BDSM scenario. Because like, I mean, literally most of these on here have that in it. But the 5th book specifically in the series, called Their Master, has shaving in it. Our heroine is actually in like a pregnancy deal. She's a whore, but she gets asked to like carry this guy's baby. And so it also has breeding kink in it. This one has like a lot of goodies in it. But this, our hero in this, he is bisexual, and he always requires both his female and male lovers to be shaved. So our heroine, who is staying in the house, she has a manservant who, this ends up being a menage, and it's those two like with the master. That's how it ends up being. But he shaves her like every other day so that she's kept smooth for the master. And so there's some pretty hot scenes because it isn't like the master doing it, it's like the servant preparing her for him. So it's a whole other level of dynamics in there. So this one, it's super hot. Okay, it is. It's super hot. But it's also a very intense series. So I do suggest that you read it if you really like BDSM and dynamics, and you're okay with like partner sharing and multiples and stuff like that, because that's what we get into in this series for sure. All right, then there is a really recent release that's actually a holiday novella, and it is called Trick Shot by Kayla Gross. So I just read this one recently, and this one is kind of a layover romance. So the heroine gets stuck at the airport, isn't able to go home for Christmas because of a blizzard. And one of our heroes is also stuck, and so he actually like lives in the town, so he just invites her back to his place where him and his roommate live. Now him and his roommate actually have an open like relationship, like they definitely fuck each other and they are together, and they have some dom sub tendencies between them. They like will switch, which I love that. But they end up inviting her to have a little threesome with them. There also is some hidden identity involved in this one, but it was really spicy and still like strangely emotional in parts. I don't know how to explain that, but that's what it was, okay? It had emotional parts in it, and I'm not BSing you. I definitely teared up during this. But this has a lot of fun kinky stuff. There is toys in this. There is, like we said, like doming and subbing. There's a tiny bit of daddy kink involved. There's impact play, and there is a shaving scene. So enjoy for this one. And then the last one that I have read, but I definitely am glad someone reminded me of it, because it is in my Kindle as like I read it, because I read the first 5 books in this series, but then they aren't on KU, so I had to like buy each of them, and I was like, I can't keep buying all of these books. So book 3 in the Masters of the Mountain, or no, sorry, that's a different series, Club Shadowlands. Book number 3 by Charisse Sinclair is called Breaking Free. And this one involves, you know, this is a sex club, this is a BDSM club, and our heroine becomes the sub to this hero, and he likes to shave her and have her be clean for him, or smooth for him. So there's that. So those are the ones that I have read that I can represent. So now I'm going to kind of quickly go through some recs that were suggested in the Instagram ones, but like I personally don't remember and or know that they do. So just be prepared for that. There is My Unexpected Surprise by Piper Rain. I definitely want to check this one out because Piper Rain, I think, writes like contemporary romance, so very interested. Someone reminded me that one of the 50 Shades books has a shaving scene in it. I guess I'm not surprised by that. It has been a decade since I've read those, so don't remember it. Surrender by Pamela Clare. Silenced by Serena Ackroyd. Now this one I did download and like check out, and it definitely has that. This one is a mafia romance, which it connects to her 5 Points Mob series, so I don't know that I will read it. This is one people have been suggesting to me, but I'm done with Serena Ackroyd. Okay, I'm done with her. I'm not like reading anymore. I may try her, like she has a spin-off name now that she's writing sports romance. I might try that, but I am done with anything that connects to her mafia world. I gave many years to my life to it. I'm not here to rant about that, but I'm just saying, I looked at, if you still like her series, this is the first in like a spin-off series from the 5 Points Mob, and this one does have it in. I checked and it is there. So you might not have the baggage that I have with Serena Ackroyd, so you go right in it. I do. She's a good writer. I just got tired of, she has 50 books that connect to each other, and I was like, no, I can't, so I'm done. But this one was recommended. Someone mentioned 5 Points Mob. Now, Owen does shave Nessa, but we don't see it on page, so I'm not recommending that as a shaving scene. It doesn't happen in their book. In her sister's book, she tells her sister that she let Owen shave her, and it was a very interesting situation, but we never get to, like, we don't experience that scene through them of him doing it, which I'm very sad that we don't, by the way. Very sad that we don't experience it because I love those two. But it does apparently happen in that world, but we don't get to see it. Love, Lime, Poison by Charmaine Pauls. Don't know about this one. Ice Queen by Joey Hill. I need to read some Joey Hill. I have had so many of their books recommended to me. And then Razor's Ride by Jamie Begley. Those are all ones that were suggested by friends and viewers. So there we go. That is what I have for this oddly specific rec video. I know it's not a ton. That's how it is when I make these. Please shout out down below if you have more recommendations that have this. We, of course, would love to see it. And yeah, make sure you check out the whole playlist with all different kinds of oddly specific, fun little tropes. And if you want to suggest a video, as I said, please use the form down below. Thanks so much for watching, friends. You can check out these books I mentioned are in the description. Have a great day. Bye.